Well, joining us now is one of the leaders of the Lakeland Revival. He is a member of Todd Bentley's Fresh Fire Ministries. Please welcome to the 700 Club, if I can pronounce this right, John Laframboise.
That's pretty close.
Pretty close.
That's pretty close.
You're French Canadian, right?
That's right.
You guys are really unlikely looking. I mean, from my generation's standpoint. I mean, we like suit and tie and all of that going on. But you come at it and you really, I mean, it's from the get-go, you're engaging this culture. And I find it amazing what's going on. It's truly incredible. Why do you think God is just, I mean, it's sort of unique, a group of Canadian biker evangelists invade America and bring fire? Mm-hmm. You got any explanation for it other than it's just God?
It's really just God. It's just a bunch of people who got desperate and hungry to see God move and just willing to pay any price for it. You know, it came to the realization that, you know, God looks at the heart, not on the outwards. Mm-hmm. You know, and God will use the foolish things of this world to confound the wise, you know, so.
Well, I can see the fire in your eyes. I mean, you got it. And it's really neat. And I've been watching, obviously, the Lakeland Revival on God TV, also on the internet, and have been getting the podcast. It's really incredible, and the impartation is incredible too. Mm-hmm. You know, sort of the American model has been, there's the great evangelist, and he comes in, and the signs and wonders come in. But you guys aren't talking about that. You're talking about you can get this. Yeah, you can get this impartation. What we do, you can do.
That's right.
What's the next step here? Where are you going with this?
Pretty much the whole goal, what we want to do is just duplicate ourselves as much as we can. Mm-hmm. Like Todd's vision is just to raise up 1,000 itinerant ministers. You know, he wants to duplicate himself 1,000 times over, so it's no longer the one man of God, but it's an entire generation going out and doing the stuff that the church is called to do. So we just want to duplicate ourselves, and just impart and teach and release as much as we possibly can. Like Todd honestly prays that his ceiling will become our platform. You know, the ones that his disciples, all his women that he's mentoring. You know, he tells us, by the time I die, if you haven't gone farther than I have, I'll be disappointed.
Oh, Jesus said the same thing. I mean, you will do greater works than I do.
That's right.
I mean, he really wanted that. He wanted that impartation to his disciples. And to greater or lesser degrees, we've either gotten that vision or haven't gotten that vision. But right now, you're talking about taking the Lakeland Revival and taking it to over 30 cities. First, physically, how are you going to do that? Is this just the current team structure, or are you looking for more team members?
Right now, it's just Todd's kind of the main head of the whole thing, what's going on. So he's himself will be going to, I think it's 32 cities, if I'm correct. Mm-hmm. And so he's just going to get into stadiums and just bringing teams with him. So to release people out into the streets to go train people. Like how we have it in Florida right now in the mornings and the afternoons, there's the evangelism training seminars. Mm-hmm. And we just train people, we equip them and send them out and off into the streets of Lakeland. So I want to pretty much do the same model and just take that.
So you're going into the streets around Lakeland, you're going into the markets, you know, aisle 5, we're having revival breakout. Is that going on?
Yeah, people are getting healed on the streets. People are getting healed in the morning meetings at the Ignited Church. People are getting healed at the tent at night. It's just miracles are breaking out everywhere. You know, the waitresses and waiters are getting healed. We hear people of getting healed, that their flight attendants get healed as they're flying to people are just getting hungry for it and just taking it everywhere.
Are you hearing reports back from the people that go to Lakeland and then go back home? Or are they carrying it?
Yeah, definitely, people are really carrying this impartation. We've heard stories of people not just praying for the sick and seeing people get healed, but raising the dead. And yeah. Okay. that's how. Yeah.
Well, I've heard Todd talk. I mean, he's coming out with numbers that you just go, wow. And he's saying he's gotten reports of something like over 35 people from around the world have been raised from the dead.
That's right.
And I give him credit. At least he talks about it. And I love what he says. If you never pray for the dead to be raised, you'll never see it. Mm-hmm. But I tell you, it takes that's a big one to say, okay, I'm going to lay hands on this corpse and speak to it and have it come up. That's a big one.
It is. It definitely is a big one.
You guys are also, I mean, it's kind of strange. There's a cottage industry that's risen up to say that, we're going to critique it. We're going to, we don't like what's going on. We don't like the appearance. We don't like the methodology. How do you guys deal with that?
We just kind of take it as it comes. You can't, every time there's been a move of God, there's always been the skeptics. There's always been the people criticizing. There's always been some kind of persecution against it. So when this broke out, we fully expecting it. Like even meetings where we just do different conferences around the world, there's always criticism about whatever things, like different things that Todd's done or that I myself have done. People almost like they're looking for a reason to criticize something. So when it comes, we just kind of, we ignore it, just kind of go as if it wasn't there,
Well, I've seen some of the criticism. Some of it seems to be focused on particular things where Todd will strike somebody or kick somebody. What is that, and why is he doing it?
I'm pretty sure what it is. It's God will just really just challenge Todd to do something. So by faith, being obedient, Todd will go out and do whatever the Lord tells him to do. Like one's real popular story that's been going around a lot is how Todd kicked a woman in the face. And
did he do that?
The Lord told him. He said, God asked Todd. He says, "Do you want to have a breakthrough in the meeting?" So Todd obviously said yes. Yeah. He said, and his attention was drawn to an older lady off to the side of the stage. He says, "Go kick her in the face." So Todd's sitting there. He's kind of reluctant at first, and he goes off and he does it. But when his big biker boot came to 1 inch of her face, she falls under the power of God. So there never was contact with this woman. But yet afterwards, just miracles broke out everywhere in this meeting. People are getting healed of all sorts of stuff. And it just happened just by that simple act of faith.
I think if God told me to kick somebody in the face, I might have to rebuke him. I don't know if I could do that. Yeah. But do you guys know that Smith Wigglesworth did the same thing?
Oh yeah, he kicked babies off stage.
Right. I mean, there was a famous meeting with him in Finland where a woman came up. She had some kind of intestinal disorder, and Smith had this whole thing about driving demons out physically, and so he hit her. It wasn't. Yeah. He came within one. He hit her in the stomach. And she was a big Finnish woman. And she said, well, if that's the way it is, I'm going to hit you right back. And she nailed him. And she left the meeting in a huff. And I imagine Smith Wigglesworth had a sore jaw afterwards. Next night she shows up, I'm healed. And I've got to ask for forgiveness. And, so there are some unusual things. What do you guys do with the unusual manifestations? Because I know, particularly in the Welsh revival, there were some very unusual manifestations going on as Evan Roberts preached, and he got convinced there were demons active, and it literally shut him down, and he became sort of reclusive. Are you guys seeing that? And when that manifestation starts to happen in the meetings, what do you guys do?
If it's the Lord, we just let God do what he wants to do. Like, who are we to say you can't manifest in that certain way? Like, who said, God, this is our box. We put you in this box. Now you stay in this box. We're okay with the miracles, but we don't like the manifestation of people shaking or whatever it is. So if it's the Lord, we just let God do whatever he wants to do. But if it is a demon manifesting through someone, then we'll just go cast it out and deal with it that way. But
keep it simple.
Yeah, why complicate something?
All right, John, you're here in Virginia right now. You've got an Ignite Virginia conference. It's at the Chesapeake Conference Center tonight. The doors are open at 6. If you want more information about that, you can go to CBN.com. John's also going to be in 2 local churches this weekend. You're going to be preaching Saturday and Sunday.
That's right.
And if you want to catch more of, if you're not in this area, but you're one of the 32 cities, again, you can go to CBN.com. We'll link you to a schedule where if you want to participate in this revival, we encourage you to do it.